everybody. Got something real special to show you in my garage today. Come on with me and check it out. Come on. Hey everybody, so welcome to my garage. Before I show you today what I'm going to be working on, I got to tell you a little bit of story. I got to take you back the year 1990. Every kid in the neighborhood had a bad BMX bike, except for this guy. So I knew I wanted one, and I knew I could go about getting it. So here's how I did it. I pulled all my resources, all my birthday money, all my allowance money. I cut grass for an entire summer. I raked leaves for an entire fall. I saved up $500, went out and bought the baddest BMX bike the whole neighborhood had ever seen. It was a black 1990 GT Performer. This thing had pegs on the back and the front. You could ride 3 people at once, and it had the gyro. You could spin the handlebars around, do tricks, all kinds of stuff. And I had it for a month, took it to the Civic Center, chained it up to a pole, come out, bike is gone. Oh, there was links on the ground. I felt like Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure when his bike got stolen. I didn't know what to do. Me and my neighborhood friends, we scoured the whole neighborhood. We checked dumpsters, we checked parks, we checked every shady person's house in the whole neighborhood. We even called the cops and had them looking for it. Could not find this bike anywhere. It was gone. I was devastated. Devastated. So, long story short, I got another bike. Wasn't as cool. Then I got a car and all that stuff happened, so that was real cool. But about 3 years ago, my older brother Jason called me and told me he shared a Facebook post with me. This guy was selling this bike on Facebook, and it looked just like the one I had. Well, it was similar anyways. So I went and take a look at it, and the guy wanted $60 for this bike, and it was just kind of a beat up, mangled thing. It had a chrome frame, it had a big banana seat on it, but I looked at the frame and it was a GT. So I bought the thing, right? $60. So I took this thing home and I recreated my childhood, and I'm going to share it with you. This bad boy here is a 1990 GT Mach 1 chrome ollie frame. This thing is bad to the bone, and it looked nothing like this when I got it. The frame was pitted, was rusted. I think the tires were all messed up. It had some goofy seat on it. The brakes were gone. Everything was gone. So I bought this bike and I started scouring eBay. Found parts everywhere. This thing is an international build. These pegs right here, these chrome pegs, front and back, came from Lithuania. The the sprocket right here, this came from the Philippines. I think the brakes came from Mexico. There was a couple Canadian parts on this thing. This stem, I think, came from Malaysia or something like that. This thing was hard to put together. It took me months. And I was in search of NOS parts. I found out what NOS means. It's new, old school stock. That means I had to scour the internet to find people who had things like these pegs still in the original wrapper, but have been sitting on the shelf for 25 years. It's a really hard task. The seat, I think, was the hardest thing to find out of the whole bunch. So I restored this bike. Love this bike. It's not the one I had when I was 10 years old, but it's still a GT, it's still the same year, and whoever stole my bike, I finally got my respect back. I got a new bike. So, this is a build I did a couple years ago. So today, I'm going to show you something else I got. This, my friends, is a 1986 Spalding SPX 3000. Now, this bike retailed for about $89.95 at Sears hardware store. I got this from a body shop. A guy was going to throw this out in the trash, didn't want it anymore. You know, the kids ride the new stuff, new brakes, or no brakes rather, and all this other stuff. So anyways, I looked at this bike, I said, you know what, I'm going to fix this one up too. So my next project is going to be to restore this bad boy, 1986 Spalding SPX 3000. We're going to make this thing roadworthy. We're going to make it a bad BMX bike. I got new tires. We're going to clean the mag wheels up. We're going to paint the crank, paint the sprocket. We're going to clean the brake lines up, install all new brake lines. We're going to reinstall some of the safety hardware on here just to make it true original. And I got some new grips and a couple other things on this thing. So over the next couple days, I'm going to be rebuilding this bike, and I'm going to share it with you, all my friends on the internet, and hopefully this will inspire you to do a bike build off. Stay tuned.